Uh, as most of you know, some of you may not, my name is Solon Hall. I will be assisting Laurie Kirsten this morning, and let's open our service by standing and singing Surely the Presence.
Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and grace. I can feel the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. Surely the presence of God is in this place.
All right, let's all join in reciting our mission statement. We welcome all as we create loving community, teach universal truth, practice spiritual principles, and live life abundantly. So it is. All right. Could Laurie come up and do the opening prayer, please?
Oh, fantastic. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? No? Okay, great. I will now burst into song so you can hear me. Okay. Welcome. Welcome to another sacred Sunday, another sacred day. This way. Oh, for the people who are watching. Sorry. I won't wander. Not all who wander are lost. Most are looking for coffee. Let's take a moment and close our eyes and come inside into prayer, into communion with that which we are. Let us inspire ourselves. Let us literally inspire by breathing in that existence that is created by the one who created us. And let us come into really intimate communion with knowing and feeling into that truth, that which we seek is seeking us, that we are already found, and that if we dare to just accept all of those qualities that we want as being practicable and present within us right now and every right now, that we begin to deepen our immersion in the love and the light and the expansion that we really are. It's not that far away. It's not far away at all. It's right here. It's right now. It may be hard to accept it sometimes, but that's okay too, because it's still right here and right now. So in this moment, we pray to deepen this knowing that we have, this revolutionary knowing that we dare to have, that we are one with that, and that we bring all of who we are in all of our states of being to this day, and we are grateful. Amen. The affirmation for today is God in me, as me, is me, and I rest in my deep devotion to divine mother love. Let's all say it together. God in me, as me, is me, and I rest in my deep devotion to divine mother love. So it is.
All right, I would like to welcome any visitors or people who haven't been here for a very long time. If you'd like to raise your hand, let the ushers know that you're here and they can bring you a welcome packet.
Oh, it's a packet, I'm sorry. Got it. Program.
Great. Welcome. Hopefully you find this as a open, loving community. Great. Next, I would like to welcome our guest speaker, Laurie Kirsten. She joins us from Cincinnati, where she does her spiritual rabble-rousing as a speaker and writer. She has been walking, falling, skipping, and dancing her way down the spiritual path for over 35 years. Laurie shares her experiences with an engaging openness, sharing and teaching her perspective and explorations with depth, laughter, and everything in between. As the founder of the Goodbye Good Girl Project, Laurie coaches women in the freedom and beauty of challenging the social rules that keep us smaller than our humanly divine selves really are. She is a coach in empowering communication and public speaking, and works as a financial representative for Western and Southern, teaching people to be empowered in co-creating their best lives. All right. Everybody, welcome Laurie. And now it's time for us to stand and sing, "Oh Mother God."
Oh, Mother God, flowing through our hearts, we give thanks for the bread of our lives, for the hands in the earth, and the fruit of your womb. Oh, Mother God, blessed be. Oh, Mother God, blessed be. Oh, Mother God, thank you for this day, for the love that you wash over me, and this joy in my heart I will share with the world. Oh, Mother God, blessed be. Oh, Mother God, blessed be. Oh, Mother God, flowing through our hearts, we give thanks for the bread of our lives, for the hands in the earth, and the fruit of your womb. Oh, Mother God, blessed be. Oh, Mother God, blessed be. Oh, Mother God, blessed be. Oh, Mother God, blessed be.
Now it's time for daily word. Word for today is Mother's Blessing. I bless all mothers everywhere. The word mother brings to mind love, gentleness, nurturance, and compassion. Even if I did not experience these qualities from the woman who gave me life, I give thanks for them and everyone who has inspired me and touched my life. To my mother and everyone who has blessed me with a mother's care, I send you love. I say a prayer of thanks for your presence in my life, for the sacrifices you made to give me the opportunity to grow and learn. You taught me the power of love and gentleness, and the strength found in giving. You taught me, above all, to be true to myself. You are a leader who has taught me to lead by example. I send you thoughts of infinite love and peace as I join with others in gratitude and joy today. And the scripture is, she opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. Proverbs 31:26. Now it's time to stand and sing.
You want to finish it? Oh.
Yes.
The face of God, I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
And now it's time for a time of meditation.
In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world full of chaos and noise. So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God. I find myself. In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world full of chaos and noise. So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, right here in this holy silence I
as we come to a place of silence and stillness within ourselves, with one another, we hear the deep call of what we know. We hear the deep call of compassion. We feel all of the love that we may not always get to express. But within this holy silence, we can feel it. We can express it to the one of which we are made. We may have busy minds, but that's okay. We can still feel the love. We can still feel the yearning. We can still feel the compassion. And we do. And so in this incredibly holy, shared moment, we lower ourselves into that beautiful, warm pool of divine mother love. Knowing that we will find ways to do this again and again and again. We sit in the warmth of the divine feminine love and strength and might, and know that it is our core, our home. And when you're ready, or even if you're not and you don't want to listen, and you want to stay in yourself, that's perfect. You are perfect.
So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God. I find God, I find myself.
You remind me that I'm always forgiven. You remind me that I'm always loved. When I try too hard and I feel so empty, you remind me that I'm good enough. When the devil doubt is racing before me, sprinkling eggshells and distrust and disarray, you are rolling out your carpet of forgiveness, and you give me solid ground to find my way. You remind me that I'm always forgiven. You remind me that I'm always loved. When I try too hard and feel so empty, you remind me that I'm good enough. I know that there are times I get distracted, and I know that there are things I didn't do. The universe is perfect and I know it. The reason that I'm sure of it is you. Did I forget to leave a flower on your pillow? Did I forget to say how much you mean to me? This is my bouquet of recognition for every gift and grace you help me be. You remind me that I'm always forgiven. You remind me that I'm always loved. When I try too hard and feel so empty, you remind me that I'm good enough. You remind me. You remind me. You remind me.
When you sing like that, you guys, it's hard not to cry. And I have to actually form words, so well done. I appreciate it. I like a place I can cry from devotion. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. So, fair warning, this ain't your mama's Mother's Day talk. We're in a new time. We're living in a very new time. It's challenging. It's difficult. And we need the divine feminine more than we ever have in our human existence. The time is now. The time is now. So when we talk about the divine feminine, especially on Mother's Day, we're used to hearing talks about, oh, I don't know, flowery stuff, the stuff that we understand already about the divine feminine, the love, the self-sacrifice, the compassion, the surrender, things like this. We know that part of the divine feminine. Problem is, that's not the complete package of the divine feminine. I've had some incredible experiences with a divine feminine incarnation of God, and it has sent me on a journey of 30-some years with questions, and I've turned myself into a spiritual lab rat. I highly recommend it. It may make you strange, and your friends may go, I think you might need to be put away somewhere. But what it does for you in terms of quality of life, in terms of your actual relationship with the divine, there's nothing you can replace that with. I know I've tried. You know, chocolate doesn't do it. Wine doesn't do it. I still like those, but they're no replacement for a sense of real connection. I mean, I don't know about you, but I lost my mom when I was 21. And that messed me up. I mean, she was sick for 11 years, so that wasn't any fun either. And then there are people who have mothers who really were never meant to be mothers, honestly. You know, there are those who have mothers who were just really mean or even abusive. It's a truth. So coming together with the divine feminine becomes a double challenge, doesn't it? Because you're like, well, I don't think I want to get close to that thing. I don't want to be abused again. It's very tough. And yet we have a sense that we are that. And the that we are is actually the whole of divinity. The divine masculine and the divine feminine in perfect balance is who we really are. Which are nice words, but what do they mean? That's the journey we need to take now. We have prayed for hundreds of years, maybe thousands. We've prayed. We've tried our best to be better to other people. We've made lots of efforts in lots of ways. And yet, if you're anything like me, you have found that for all of your effort, the return seems to be kind of small. You want more. And I think it's good to be greedy for God. I think that's a good thing. Here's where the change comes. Two places. The divine mother, the divine feminine, which is in all of us, men as well. She's not just loving, she is fierce. That girl is fierce, okay? She has to be. She has a lot to do. She got to deal with us. She's got to help us grow. She's got a lot of work to do. And we are human, and the divine said, have at it. The divine said, free will for all, for everybody. And then we're down here going, wait a second, wait, can we negotiate? So that's number one, fierceness. And I forgot what my number two was, so I'll just keep going. Because I'm like that. Once upon a time, well, I grew up in a Jewish household. We weren't particularly religious, but we were very socially Jewish. And I was a seeker from the word go. I was like, why? How? And my mother, God bless her, was like, that's interesting. My father was like, I don't want to talk about it. So I talked to my mom. And then when my mom died, I was done. And I wandered through my life pretty broken for about 8 years. And then I moved out to Boston, and somebody said to me, hey, you should come see this guru of mine. And I went, what? And that's something the Beatles did? Like, what are you talking about? I was about 28. And that is far from our world, isn't it? I mean, that's on the other side of the world from us, usually. But I was in love, unrequited love with this man. So I was going to go do whatever he did. He's like, she's the real thing. So I went to go see this real thing, whatever that meant. And into this room of like 40 people walks this little tiny Indian woman all wrapped up in sari. And her energy was so off the freaking chain that I felt like the sari was the only thing keeping her from ascending in that house. Which was an interesting thought because I'd never seen energy or been around energy like that or thought about ascension. What? But I'm looking at her like, And we sat down and she didn't speak any English. She had swamis and swaminis, which is the feminine version of swami. And people were translating whatever she I don't even know what she talked about. I'm just sitting there with my mouth on the ground going, what is happening right now? And she sang, and it was like, right in the heart. Couldn't understand a word. It was all, not English. And it was gorgeous. It spoke to my soul. There was a connection there that I couldn't define, but I didn't need to. So I hung out with this amazing being. I quit my temp job, like never mind, and I hung out with her for the 10 days she was in the Boston area. This is back in 1988. And then, I was enlightened. For those 8 days, I was like in total massive bliss. I felt like every single pore of my body was streaming light, and I was completely in conscious awareness of my oneness with the divine, holy, what? Right? I'm like, okay, I would be sitting there looking at her while she's giving some big thing, and I'd be like this, sorry. So mean. Sorry, guys. And I'd be like this, and I realized it was that 4 hours had passed, literally. And I'd be like, okay, I don't understand this. And then she left. She went back to India. And I crashed, about as big a crash as you could crash. From, oh my God, I get it, I'm her, I'm the divine, I'm it, it's in me, it's of me, it's as me. I'm a loser. Yeah, right? Just, it was gone, it was gone. So the question was, how do I keep that with me? And that is what I want to impart to you today, is how do you keep that with you? How do you initiate it, or initiate it deeper? We're coming from an old way of looking at the divine into a new way of being the divine. I'm not saying you're in control of the universe. That's not the kind of godness I'm talking about. But we love to say God is omnipresent on the one hand, and somehow leave ourselves out of that. God's omnipresent, but not here. No, I'm not good enough. I haven't prayed hard enough. I've sinned, or whatever our background is that we've got going on in our, in our heads. And the fact is, it's you. It's you. It's you. It's you. That's a hard thing to take. We've practiced being mean to ourselves so much. We're so good. I'm going to mail you your PhDs because we've all got one. We compare ourselves negatively in every conceivable way. We tell ourselves, if I don't have the right body, the right skin color, the right sexuality, the right job, the right success level, you name it, then somehow I'm not enough. I'm not good. I'm not worthy. These are understandable feelings given how we've all grown up. We've all grown up in the same culture. And it doesn't matter how much we set our minds to do it differently. Our conscious mind is a helper, but it's not what transforms. There's something else that is also running the show, and it is all of that subconscious stuff. It is also all our emotional setting. So if we go into our world and we say the divine feminine is this nice thing, this nice lady, this nice energy, this nice God, however you frame it. But it's this nice fill in the blank that loves me and holds me and lifts me and carries me. That's great. Does it help you when you are suicidal? Probably not. And I know because I have been. I've gone through some really dark stuff. And no matter how much I prayed, I wasn't rescued. So then that brought up into my very questioning mind, well, God, well, Mother, because we call this lady Mother, well, Mother, if you are all that, and you're not going to rescue me, what good are you? I mean, literally, I'm not saying, what good are you, but what good are you? How can I make this a part of my daily moment-to-moment existence before I'm enlightened, if I'm ever enlightened? Like how can I make this a right here, right now thing, given that you're supposed to be right here and you are in me as me? Well, that was 25 years of a journey, or more. I'm going to tell you some stories about how this started to get answered for me. And it didn't get answered like an on-off switch, like, okay, now I don't know, and now I'm enlightened, now I've got it all. Now I can impart everything to you so you walk in. No. This is about the feminine, so it's about process. It's about having a moment of awareness and awakening, and then daring to claim it and work with it within yourself. Because as you change, so changes your world. It's just true. You can try forever and ever to be nicer and nicer and nicer to people outside of you, but it's so much easier and so much more effective and it goes so much further if you start with being nice here. And that's where the divine feminine fierce comes in. Because my God, how many times do you tear up? How many times have you teared up this morning? Or been upset because I wish I could get that. When we really feel that sense of love and compassion and we feel it touch us, it makes us cry or rage because we're not used to it. It's sort of like you've been out in the cold and you try to put your hand under some warm water, it's gonna hurt. You have to put it under some cold water until it gets used to it. So we're not used to being loved that way. We have to be fierce with the way we give ourselves some compassion and some kindness. Once upon a time, I was clinically depressed. I was about 31, 32, something like that, maybe a little older, doesn't matter. It was a while ago, and I was in my apartment and I was done. I wasn't done like I'm gonna hurt myself. I never tried, thank God. But I laid on the floor of my apartment, depressed out of my mind for about 3 full days. It's like I see no purpose in getting up. I see no purpose in breathing. I don't understand why I'm supposed to even be alive. What is happening right now? And I was calling for mother, 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 mother. You said you would come if I called, and I'm taking you literally, and you're not here. Like, I don't even feel yet. All I feel is depressed. After about 3 days, I figured out she's not coming. There is no rescue here. And that may sound stupid. That may sound like, well, duh. When you start listening to what you really believe and you really feel and you really think, beyond what your mind says it thinks, you're going to start to discover that you're a little bit at war with yourself. And when you start to get honest, the rubber has met the road and you can now do the divine in real alignment with you as you are now. And I stood up. I remember I got my feet under me, I got my hands under me, I stood up and I was pissed. You didn't rescue me? I gave you my devotion, I gave you my trust, and you didn't rescue me? Nothing. So I started walking. I just kept walking through my life. Fast forward to about 10 years ago. I'm in California and I go completely broke. I'm 56 years old. When you're supposed to be getting ready for retirement, I don't think so. I went broke and I went homeless. Yep. So when I tell you you can come back from anything, I'm not kidding. Does it take a lot of things that you don't like to think about or be? Yes, but you can come back from anything. And I remember I was sitting in a room in the house of the man who said, you can come stay in my house. There's a guy living on the basement floor. I'm living the top 2. You can have the middle floor. I won't charge you. Just come home to Ohio. And I'm like, thank you, Mother. Thank you. So I'm sitting there and I'm doing what we're all so good at. I'm beating the heck out of myself with my words. One word, one phrase, meaner than the next. Because I was in so much shame. I came from an upper middle class home with parents who were known in the classical music community. What? Homeless? That's not my identity. Honey, yes it is. Oh God. I'm beating up on myself. Very well, I might say. Really good job at it. And I suddenly have a moment of grace. And the moment of grace is that I realized something I have never felt before or since. Those words were actually having a physical impact on me. Physical impact. Like I was in pain. And I went, oh, it stopped my train of thought. And I went, oh, what's happened? Huh? It's real? Like when you're mean to yourself, it really does physically hurt you? Because I heard of if you're mean, it can reduce your, what is it called? You can get sicker easily and things like that. But to actually feel it, that's a whole other level of, wow. So it stopped me long enough for me to go, what should I do next? And I went, oh, I used to do Reiki for people. And when I would do that, one of the things that I did internally was I would just be with that, whatever that energy was or those messages were that I was hearing or feeling or perceiving. And my mission was to not judge, but to be there in love, acceptance, grace, and allowing. So that the energy, the divine energy, the light, would do its thing, because it's way more powerful than me alone. So I said, why don't I do that? So I went to one of these places in my body, and each place felt like it was an icicle. Like one of those really long ones with a really sharp point. And it felt like it was punching out from inside my body, going out that way. So I went to this one, I remember this one. First one I went to. And so inside I go, okay. I'm not gonna make it worse. I'm not gonna go to that thing and go, get out! I don't like you, you're hurting me. I'm not gonna do that. Because it's part of me, so I'm gonna be abusing myself more if I do that. Okay. So I sit down and I go, all right, very gently I sit down in my mind's eye, like, I'm not here to change you. Like, ah. And I sat down and go, here in mercy and love and acceptance, and it went. And the pain went away, and the icicle melted, and what? So I went to each part in my body and did that. It took about half an hour. And for the next 4 days, I was in massive bliss. Not the kind of bliss where you're crossing the street and you go, car, what car? Not that kind. The kind that's real. The kind where your feet are on the ground and you're going, I am one with the divine masculine feminine. I'm good. I feel the strength that's not from me pushing too hard. I feel such compassion and love for people. I was just incredibly centered, aligned, happy. Wow. The reason I tell you that story is that the people that I ran into during those 4 days, God, they were blessed. And that doesn't come from me going, I am all of that. It comes from me saying, because I was aligned in that place of kindness, and I was daring to keep that energy, to say, yes, that energy it's me. It's me. Holy cow. Like everybody, I didn't argue with people. I did stand up for myself, but it was always with incredible kindness and clarity. And so the point of all of this is simply this. It takes a heck of a lot of fierceness to come inside and look at our contradictions with ourselves. That the Divine Mother will not rescue you from that because she wants you to see it. She wants you to have your power. She wants to be acting through you. She needs us to be the candles. And the way we can do that the most powerfully is when inside we give ourselves that flowery kindness part. But it takes the fierceness to dare to do it. And I so highly recommend it. I think it is the transformation that this time asks of us. It does not require that we be like anybody else. It doesn't require a time frame. It doesn't require perfection. In fact, if you're trying for perfection, God bless you, because that's a very painful road that goes nowhere. Because perfection is not what we think it is. It is being that divine masculine feminine. And when we can define the feminine as bigger than just nice, sweet, kind, or in our human way, sexy, white, cute, all that stuff, when we can understand that the feminine within us, masculine, feminine, whatever, is fierce and kind, then we're cooking with gas. Then we're cooking with gas. God bless you all.
Thank you.
Great. Great. Now it's time for love offering. So if you either already have it prepared now, or now it's time to prepare it, I'd like to first say it and then have us all repeat it. divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful. 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 I'm so grateful.
Bless the offering.
Yes. Miss Laurie, would you like to come back up? It's all. You're on mute.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is good. The divine family multiplier. Oh, we bless this offering. We bless the fact that we are all that is, including all the wealth of every single kind. We ask that this offering be multiplied through our kindness, our fierceness, our fabulousness, and your magnificence as a community.
All right. Now it's time for some announcements. All right. Next Sunday at May 15th, we're going to have our very own Douglas Blue Feather do the music and service. So your friends and family. And after the service, it's going to hold a workshop. It's a $20 fee service. It's after the service, about 12:30. So $20. It includes practice materials. Runs about 2 hours, so there will also be snacks for those who are participating after the service. And the sign-up sheet for that will be right outside in the social area. Half of the proceeds are going back to the church, so there's also a great fundraiser opportunity. And thank you, Douglas, for the feather. All right. Another featured announcement is more permanent name tags are in the social area. They can be stored in the pocket holders in the coat closet. Also, don't forget about our sharing table in the group room. There's always new stuff in there every week, so go check it out. If you have something that you'd like to add to, feel free to add it. And our Reiki Circle's back every first Sunday at 12:30. The next one's going to be June 5th. There will be refreshments after service, and it generally runs about 45 minutes and is on a love offering basis. There is no fee. The Sacred Covenants Women Group meets in person this Wednesday from 10:30 to noon. Women of Unity are invited to join Colleen Foster for in-line conversation and connection. Every second Wednesday of the month at 6 p.m., we have a drumming circle. So if you have a drum, bring it. If you have a jar of beans, bring it. Anything that can make noise, bring it. Come out for some community and have some fun. Next one, again, is this Wednesday, the 11th at 6. Then on first and third Wednesdays of every month, from 7 to 9 p.m., is Exploring Ascension Energies, shifting into the fifth dimension with Dan Studebaker. He's still around, folks. He's just on the internet. So if you'd like to join in with that, you can email him at dwstudebaker@gmail.com for a Zoom invite. Also starting back up again is a women's Zoom study group. It's called the Venus Rising, and will be held on Monday mornings from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. If interested, contact Victoria Heron by email at lifecoach11@hotmail.com or contact church office for the invite. And there's going to be a craft circle on Saturday, May 21st at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Georgia Chase Swainer suggests to bring a portable craft project, settle in for a morning of conversation and creativity. Coloring pages will be available. Knitting, crochet, sewing, scrapbooking, beading, drawing, and journaling are just a few ideas of what you may bring. All ages and abilities are welcome. Look for the sign-up sheet, again, out in the social area. And then lastly, if you're not already signed up to have 0.05% of your purchases from Kroger or Amazon donated to the church, take a flyer from the social area with directions to make signing up easy. And to all of you out there in watching from YouTube, Facebook Live, just a reminder, you are the light of the world.